Well, we're here at Mr. Farmer, a lovely little piece of heaven in Goa. And we're with Mr. Farmer, the man who started it. When did you start this nursery?
Way back in 1974. So many years ago, after I completed my graduation in agriculture. But that is not the most important part of it, graduation. Important thing, I have a passion for this plants, vegetables, fruit trees, and we are working. We are expanding the business, but only in plants and trees.
Correct.
Yeah.
That was way ahead thinking at that point of time, to go ahead and have a nursery, because I don't think people were that inclined into having it.
Not at all. Not at all. People didn't know what the nursery was actually. And in fact, somebody asked me one day, we have to buy the plants, because Goans were never used to buying a plant, because they used to come to your neighbor's house, take a twig and grow it in your garden. Things have changed. Now people know these plants are available in nurseries. There are many nurseries today in Goa. And we have established about 50 years ago, and we have moved to this spot about 30 years now.
All right.
Yeah, before that it was just around the house. This was developed little later.
In today's day and age, when we're talking about having aquaponics and going ahead and having a landscape design around the house, and so much of importance is given to the greenery around the household, do you think an average Goan is inclined towards the greenery around their house?
Today, yes, but before that also, believe me, in every house there is a garden. There is organized or disorganized, but there are Goans are lovers of plants, but they were not used to professionally do the gardens, but today it is. The scenario has changed, and people want well organized gardens, more practical. And now the new concepts in landscape is not only the decorative plants, we also include vegetables now.
Yes.
And the fruit trees, which is liked by most people today.
Correct. So yes, everybody wants to have a little kitchen garden in their homes. We understand that. And does Mr. Farmer, as have a lot of options for kitchen gardening, and how do you include it in your greens around?
Yes. Now see, when we earlier the concept of kitchen garden was to allot a defined place only for vegetables. Now the scenario has changed. In fact, I introduced myself this concept about 10 years ago. We include as part of the landscape. You don't have to have a very defined space only for vegetables, because vegetables also look very nice. Like for example, a nice tomato plant with nice red fruits looks a beautiful part of the garden. So we include all these vegetables now all over the garden. So that makes sense, easy to manage, and also it gives you enough vegetables, and you can decide whether you want to grow organic or inorganic.
Correct.
Even if you do a little bit of fertilizers, there's nothing wrong.
Yes.
But you know how much you're using, and you know how much pesticide you're using.
Correct.
So you with the vegetables that you grow, you know how much you have used.
Absolutely.
But when you buy from the market,
have
you eat tons of pesticides. That's for sure. So the importance of kitchen garden is this. So you cannot grow everything in Goa, because we are in the tropical region where the climate does not allow us to grow all the vegetables throughout the year. Like for example, cabbage, cauliflower, tomatoes are winter crops, and they do well here. And what is the most common and easiest to grow is tamdi bhaji.
Do you have tamdi bhaji around?
We grow on the beds. We can't grow. We sell them here. We do sell here in Mr. Farmer herbs, different varieties, oregano, majoran, then peppermints, then chilies, different types of salad leaves. Yeah, so that we do keep variety, and we have seeds for sale here.
Oh, perfect.
And whoever wants a little guidance how to grow, we do give them gardens here.
So I have a question. We're talking about having a garden around the house, or going ahead, and for all our viewers who go ahead and live in apartments, and space is a big issue,
constraint,
big
yeah.
constraint. What are the solutions?
Apartments, they need some sunlight if you want to grow vegetables. Of course, you can grow under artificial light, but it is an expensive job. Most apartments have verandas or little space down, and there where we use containers, different types of containers to grow vegetables. Not that you cannot grow trees, but you need a terrace. You can grow mangoes, you can grow chicus, you can grow limes, everything is
In apartments?
yeah in apartment on the terrace.
Correct.
Not in the veranda, that's not possible. Veranda, they can grow some quantity of vegetable. Whatever they have is theirs, you see. And the pleasure that you get to harvest from your own tree, you can't get that in the market when you buy a kilo of tomatoes or anything else.
Oh, what about vertical gardening? Has that come to Goa?
Vertical gardening has come into Goa in terms of ornamental plants. But this vegetable also will come. It is the same concept. We do have some samples here of ornamental plants, but same thing can be grown there, but smaller vegetables.
All right.
Not tomatoes, brinjal, they grow
Quite tall.
tall. This is good for lettuce, herbs, very ideal.
Perfect. So this was the first 101 session with the man himself called Mr. Farmer. And we're going to go ahead and learn a little bit more from you today.
Yes. Now, you know what is most important when you want to begin growing vegetable? One must understand type of soil that we have in Goa. People come here, very many of them, they buy soil.
Correct.
But I want to tell the people in general, there is no soil which is bad.
Okay.
Though there are complaints, what we have to manipulate those soils. Our soils in Goa, because of the heavy rains, are acidic. Konkani there is amot.
Amat.
So what happens? These acidic soils create problems, especially for the absorption of nutrients.
Okay.
So our pH, we call it that pH is a scientific term. In general, Goa soils are between 4.5 to 5. So how to change that first?
Correct.
Is add lime and with little magnesium. You know Epsom salt?
Yes.
That's magnesium. A little bit of that and calcium, if it is added to our soil, it does magic to the growing of vegetables.
Correct.
Then there are a variety of soils. If you are on the coastal side, it's very sandy.
Yes.
You pour water into minutes, it is gone. If you go on the hillside, the soil is clayey.
Towards that.
Yeah, it's clayey. So what is good? All soils are good, but how to prepare a space and soil for growing vegetables is to make the soil friable, we call it.
Friable.
Friable. F-R-I, huh?
Correct.
Yeah. Yeah. And what you have to do, if it's clayey, you have to add sand to that.
Okay.
Not any sand, coarse sand. Very important is to use coarse sand. But if you have sandy soil, if you are in Kalangut, then you can add very sticky soil to that.
Correct.
And add this lime
Yes.
and magnesium
Balance
to
the
pH for both. Now what is next for the soil is organic matter. Very often people grow vegetables, they dig around and just start growing, putting the seeds in. It is not enough. There has to be some level of organic matter. Now the best organic matter in Goa is available is cow dung manure. Shane. But very important, it should be well decomposed.
Okay.
Otherwise, we end up into small problems. Especially, you may have noticed there's a beetle called rhinoceros beetle that feeds on all our coconut palms and other palms also, just destroy.
Correct.
It has become a big issue all over the world, not only in Goa. So, cow dung is a good media for them to lay the eggs. Yeah. So, we should treat it well. No, drying is not a solution. Fresh cow dung, if you dry, doesn't become manure. There's a process which takes about 6 to 7 months. It gets decomposed. Then it is a good manure. Then that has to be applied to the soil, mixed well, leveled well, and you sow the seeds that you want.
All of this information seems to be a lot to take within 1 day or 2 days. Do you have classes over here? Can people come and learn more about the plants?
We do have workshops here on various things. One thing is vegetable, and we also have workshops on maintenance of plants. You know, sometimes we design the garden, we lay it out, but people don't know how to look after them.
That's true.
See, laying a garden is as, maintenance is as good as laying. You know, a lot of knowledge one needs to have, and they must follow certain procedure in terms of feeding the plants. You know, most Goans and most people who come here, सारे क्या ना घातलेले रे जाले orosbor. So you know, this is the story we get, and we always tell them feed the plants every month. Every month we have to feed.
A lot of manure. I think the normal idea is that's a lot of manure.
Whatever you put once a year, you can divide that into 12 and you can use it. That's a golden rule. Yeah, and then you have to control the pest. As much as human beings have the plants, when they become worse by the day, and they're becoming resistant, some of the insects, because it's like you must have heard from some doctor, people are getting resistant to antibiotics today. You know why?
Too much of antibiotics.
No, it's not too much of antibiotics. Because when doctor prescribes 12 tablets, when I feel all right in 3 days, I throw the rest of the tablets out, or I buy only 5 tablets. So your body immunity goes, and you get into trouble. That's the same thing is happening to the plants. There is a prescribed dosage of whether it's organic pesticide or inorganic. You have to have that dose.
Correct.
And spray regularly to be free from all these pests.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Well, we're going to be getting a lot more information from Mr. Farmer in a lot of different episodes. But for now, can you tell us some of the herbs that we have that can be kept in an apartment and outside?
This is a mint.
Yes.
You know, you can taste one. Take a piece. No, I'll give you one. Okay, try this. This is a regular mint.
Correct.
Yeah, but these containers are mostly bought by those people who are staying in the apartments. Yeah.
Correct.
Then we have oregano here.
Oh, but
Yes.
is used dry.
No, you can use fresh.
All right.
Yes. Then we have
So what is this plant called?
called stevia.
Okay.
You try this leaf and tell me what it is. Sweet?
Sweet.
Very sweet.
Very sweet.
This is a natural sweetener.
Oh.
You don't need sugar. This is about 200 times sweeter than the sugar.
So you just put it in like tea?
No, you can tea, sweets, cakes, whatever you can do it. Powder it.
like this powdered in
Powder, you can powder and use it.
Oh, goody. Stevia is your
Stevia
next.
is a sweetener, especially for people with diabetes.
They can use stevia.
In fact, I advise everybody to have without sugar. Because sugar is the biggest killer today. All the heart attacks is not because you eat pork or beef, but it is because you eat too much of carbohydrates in the form of rice. Rice is good, but I'm not saying you should avoid, but eat in moderate.
How big does the stevia plant grow? Considering that's
A little more, another few inches.
shrub?
Shrub, it's a shrub. And you can plant it in the ground and it grows well.
does it need a lot of sunlight? Can it be inside apartments?
Good amount of sunlight is required, yes.
Like a balcony of an apartment.
Yes, balcony is fine. Also people take this for the balcony, yeah.
So 3 plants for sure you can grow in your apartment balconies. One is the 2 herbs, oregano and
Many more.
mint.
Many more.
Many more.
Like chilies you can grow,
Alright.
cluster beans you can grow,
Okay.
peas you can grow,
Wow.
tomatoes you can grow, brinjal you can grow.
Okay.
Depends how much space one has got.
Perfect.
Maybe you can have only 1 plant of each or 2 plants of each,
Okay.
but it's it's your own.
your own choice.
Yeah, that's a.
Lovely. Anything else that you'd like for people to
Chilies. This particular chili stays with you for more than a year. Normally the chili plant life is about 4 to 5 months and they're out. This particular chili is good for a kitchen garden because we don't buy chilies from the market. So we have...
That sounds like great news, not having to buy chilies.
good. I advise people to grow at least one chili, one lime, you know, a few other vegetables which are... Coriander, for example. Anybody can grow. Just see, coriander is one of the easiest things to grow. And all you need to go to Mapsa market or wherever, buy good seed of coriander, dry them from morning till at about 3 o'clock. Why I'm telling 3 o'clock? 3 is the hottest. And they dry well. You use your hands and just crush it like this. They split into two. And sow it like any other tamade bhaji or any other vegetable. And in a short span, in 1.5 months, 2 months, you have your coriander. And it's good for a kitchen garden. No, you must not grow very big patches. You stagger. Every week you sow coriander. You know, so tamadi bhaji also, every week you put few seeds.
So you have a continuous cycle of...
These regular vegetables, which are commonly used by in this part of the world. Yeah.
So what we're going to do now is we're going to follow Mr. Farmer through the farm a little bit, and you can show us a couple of plants that you think people should, you know, go ahead and try and have in their apartments. Different plants, ornamental as well as if vegetable, which don't take a lot of sunlight probably. And yeah, we'll cover both. Yes.
When you come to ornamental plants, there are varieties and for different purposes. Very often a term is used, indoor plant, which is wrong. We should rightly use the word shade-loving plants. When we say indoor plant, many times people take plants which are shade-loving and they keep inside the house. Inside the house, the plants cannot survive. If at all you want plants inside the house, you can keep any plant, but you must rotate them every week. The same plant must stay outside in the shade. Remember, if you take them outside in the sun, they will just die. So you have to have 3 sets of plants for each location. So two plants remain outside and 1 plant remains inside the house. So when you shift, that same plant gets about 15 days stay outdoor. So shade-loving plants are important for indoor and indoor use inside the house and also in the shady areas. Then we have semi-shade loving plants. All plants which are semi-shade, the best sunlight they like is during the morning hours. Evening is very hot, avoid them in those locations. Then the sun-loving plants, there are plenty, choice is huge. And we will show you now all the varieties that we have around and a few tips on how to look after them also. This is called Dracaena. Of course, this is a new variety. There are many types of Dracaenas. And this loves semi-shade. Not too much shade, nor too much sunlight. And it does well as you can use as indoor or in the shady areas in your garden. Yeah? Yeah.
Dracaena.
Now, this is also very interesting. You can focus this on this flower. These are called St. Paulias. And this is a plant, also requires semi-shade. But how do you water? Normally we pour the water on top, no? This will die in few days. Ideally, you have to have a container with water and just keep it there for 2 minutes. Soil absorbs the water because it doesn't like wet feet. And that causes fungus. In 8 days time, plant is gone. So this is one color that we have. There are, I think, all colors available in this. So this is a good pot plant. Correct. This is a fern. There are about 500 ferns varieties. This is one variety that we have. Now, you know, space is a constraint. Correct. So we hang them like this. So they can use all the spaces.
And they look very beautiful also hanging.
Yeah, and they grow big. These are babies now.
Oh,
They'll become huge in another 2 months' time.
okay.
Yeah, ferns is another plant which most people like. Is always green throughout the year and easy to maintain.
What about repotting? Do you need to repot them?
Like for this container that you see, maybe after 3 years,
Oh, okay.
nothing will happen to this. Unless this is rust.
Okay.
Otherwise,
You're good.
no problem.
All right.
Yeah. You know, in Konkani we call them perpetuas or Vinca rosea is a correct name. This is a very interesting variety, miniature, which is not found anywhere in the nursery, only with us. And we have some more colors. We will release them in June, July. These are miniatures of periwinkles also it is called.
Yes.
And they also make a lovely pot culture, in the verandas and all. It's super. We also have this is a very special papaya. We got it from Taiwan.
Okay.
You know, this papaya is red in color,
Oh.
long papaya, very delicious. Now papayas, if you plant today, in 6 months time you'll get the fruit.
Okay. What about the height of these papayas?
They are, in 1 year they will grow to about 2 meters.
All right.
Maximum they grow to about 3 meters, and after 3 years you should not keep the papaya tree, you should cut it off.
So we're looking at keeping it in the veranda. Is it possible to keep it in the veranda if it's a tall
It's
veranda?
possible, in a big container it is possible.
Yes.
I've seen people growing in some places, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah.
So it's called the red lady papaya.
Red lady papaya, yeah. Very delicious. Yeah.
Perfect.
You know, these plants are called impatient.
Why so?
I don't know. In Konkani there is a plant called, we call them cheat day. You know,
Okay.
if you crush that, you get a lot of juice.
Okay.
Maybe because of that. And in this also, there are various colors.
Yes.
Make a sense to grow them in the verandas or outdoor also. But these are semi-shaded plants.
Yes.
This is a vegetable.
Okay.
It produces also flowers, beautiful. This is a creeper.
Okay.
This is brought from Thailand.
Okay.
This is used in Thai cooking. Any buffet you go, any dish you order, this must be there.
What's it called?
It's called kankun.
Okay.
Very popular in Thai cuisine, yes.
Okay.
Yeah.
The leaves are used.
Leaves and stalks also.
Oh, perfect.
Yeah.
All right.
They steam them.
How long do they grow and how long?
Oh,
do
they're
mature?
one of the fastest growing creeper I have ever seen.
Okay.
You grow one twig today, in 8 days time you'll find it double the size.
Size.
So fast.
Okay.
And it's worth growing because it's a very, yeah.
Grown inside an apartment?
Yes, yes, in
Or
a pot.
Perfect.
Easily.
All right.
Yeah.
Okay.
And especially we were thinking of even having to teach the aged people,
Yes.
they can participate in this sort of pot culture.
Yes.
See, I'm also teaching the blind.
Oh.
I've already grown the vegetables for them. Not grown for them, they are growing. I'm only teaching them in Santa Cruz. There's a National Association for the Blind.
Yes.
I am part of that for many years. And I'm training them not only to grow vegetables, also to propagate the plant. Because some of them can see little, some of them cannot see. Those who cannot see, I want to teach them to propagation of plant. And they'll do a perfect job. Better than myself.
People
We get disturbed.
Yes.
They do a fantastic job as far as this. So 1 or 2 boys have shown interest in this. I want to see whether they can manage. And I'll employ them here.
Oh, perfect.
We already have one employed in our organization.
So and I think it has been said that, even kids and adults who are hyperactive or who need help, or even ADHD kids,
Yeah.
should go ahead for gardening. It calms them down. It's very soothing. And, playing with mud and learning how to garden keeps a very calm, composed, ideology for people. Also, specially abled, people should go ahead and learn gardening. It's a great idea.
In fact, we have visitors here, children from the KG class, 2nd standard, 3rd standard. They come in big batches here. We show them. Of course, they are too small, but it inculcates that idea of growing, not only the vegetables, but even other plants. And some of the kids, you must see how what good questions they ask. They're very interesting.
Very nice.
Lots of them come here. Besides the SEC, ninth standard normally come. Otherwise, we have small kids coming here. So beautiful.
Good.
Now, this is called Adenium.
Okay.
These are not bonsais. Very many people sell them also as bonsai, which is wrong. This is a naturally dwarf plant.
Okay.
Now, this is grafted.
Correct.
If you can show this part, you can see this is a grafted part of the. This is from the seed.
Okay.
This is a old regular color. All the new colors we graft them like this,
Correct.
so that you'll see about 20 different colors are there available here, and these are also ideally for pots,
Okay.
and they require watering twice a week.
Oh.
Yeah, they do very well to that. If you don't have hibiscus plants in the nursery, they say this is not a nursery. So this is one thing loved by most Goans, and we have about 100 different varieties of hibiscus today.
That's true.
Yeah, we also keep the original here from Goa, which is getting extinct. We propagate that at our farm, and we give wherever we do landscaping, one of that we plant so that it remains.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Why do you think hibiscus is so popular in Goa?
I think see the earlier varieties, people used to use this for religious purposes, especially the Hindus.
Yes.
So I think the love started there.
Correct.
Yeah.
Because it was like an offering to God
Yes.
kind of a flower.
It is not that others communities did not grow. Everybody grew that, and flowers every day.
Yeah. I think when we go for the Navinas, we take them along with us
Yeah,
to
yes,
put it. So I
also.
get that.
And there are some places in India they make garlands out of it, like in Calcutta.
Okay.
They sell in tons, not by numbers. Yeah, because every time they go to a temple, they carry a basket, and one of them, the flowers is hibiscus. Not these colors, but that particular red, very popular. And it grows without any problem. They don't have diseases. These create problems. This needs more care. People are wanting different varieties today. So we introduce wherever possible the latest varieties in hibiscus and also in other plants. Yeah.
All right, so that's a lot of information for one time. We're going to bother you again, probably with a little bit of vegetables for indoors.
Next time we'll show you how we have grown in the pot, so that people can understand exactly how it is sown and how it grows. In 3-4 stages we'll show them.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So here's you tuning in for the next time. For sure, we're going to have you pot a plant, and you can learn how to do that while you're on CCR TV. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
Thank you so much for making time today.
Thank you. Thank you.